Good afternoon. Today's meeting is meeting of the Fire Police Commission, 8 North Elmhurst Road. And right now, we do not have a quorum. The meeting is open. We have all of the commissioners en route, and the meeting will proceed as soon as we have a quorum.
This is the opening of the Police and Fire Commission meeting, monthly meeting.
Okay, and call for a quorum. Chairman Hoppen,
Here?
Commissioner Fiorito,
Here.
Commissioner Meyer.
Here.
So we have a quorum. All right. Approval of the June 20th meeting minutes.
Also present?
Oh, also present?
Deputy Clerk Karen Schulteis.
Larry Batten, Executive Assistant.
Al Steffen, Chief of Police.
Jim Zalaki, Deputy Chief.
So now we can move on to the approval of the minutes?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
And a second?
It's a voice vote.
Aye.
Aye.
I mean, 3-0.
We now going to go into closed session?
We do need to go into a closed session for discussion of personnel matters.
So moved. No, I gotta do that better, don't I? Motion to go into motion to go into closed session for the reason of personal matters.
And a second?
Okay, that's a roll call. Chairman Meyer, Chairman Hoffman,
Here?
Commissioner Meyer,
Aye.
Commissioner Fiorito.
Aye.
Okay, so we're going to do a return to open session?
Yes.
There are two motions that we want to be put on. The one is to establish a new list to hire candidates for police officer.
So, motion to direct the police department to
Department to
establish.
establish a new list,
A new recruit list.
new recruit list.
So moved.
We have a second?
Aye.
There would probably be a roll call.
Roll call.
Yep.
Okay. Commissioner Meyer,
Aye.
Commissioner Fiorito,
Aye.
Chairman Hoffman.
Aye. The second motion is the establishment of a lateral list. We're going to ask the police department to look into the process of establishing a lateral list for police candidates.
Motion, so moved.
A second?
Okay, roll call. Commissioner Meyer,
Aye.
Commissioner Fiorito,
Aye.
Chairman Hoffman.
Aye. So the next is the return, old business?
I don't believe I have any old business. I have new business I have some new business.
Okay.
The new business is that with the two vacancies that came from the retirement of Officer,
Ski.
the retirement of Corporal Stewart and the resignation of another officer, that, thank you for moving forward with the testing process and allowing us to begin the process for a lateral program. And other business, actually, I'm going to move right into the departmental update. We've had a lot of things going on since our last meeting. We've had, I believe, I probably gave a short update on what happened at the scene of the fire the last time. Moving forward, we have assisted 77 families with whom the fire was affected or had affected. We've helped, we ensured that all those families, with the exception of one person, they now have long-term housing.
Great,
Wow.
that's wonderful.
We received, as of 2 days ago, almost $11,000 in gift cards to date. Yesterday, Hebron Church came to the station, came to the city hall and donated an additional $5,000 in gift cards.
Hebron Church did.
Hebron Church,
Wow.
in Schoenbeck.
What a
That is
partner they are in
amazing,
this
yeah.
community.
Right.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And so we have our social workers who've identified the families and the victims. We had given them city identification cards as fire victims so they can use for their various services. We have lists of resources that they can take advantage of. And as needs, as we see needs for these families, then we're distributing gift cards as the needs arise, so to speak.
Did they ever sort out the whole clothing donation thing?
Well, this is as good a time as any to give a good accounting of what happened. Is that there was multiple organizations that collected donations, and clothing being like the primary donation. And initially, River Trails, the association was supposed to take over, was supposed to run the relief efforts. And they had a gymnasium at River Trails that very quickly filled up with all these donations. Clothing, and then it was also non-perishable foods. Well, within a short period of time, we established that they're way over their
Yeah,
heads.
storm, right, yeah.
And even though our emergency operations procedure says you do not get involved with like community donations and whatnot, it was clearly that they needed some help. So we jumped in, and at the same time, we had all the things that were dropped off at City Hall. So as we helped them kind of identify the needs and organize everything at their auditorium, and we identified a period of time that we would continue to run the operation before winding it down there. At the same time, in the old Ruffalo store in Pewaukee Plaza across the street, we were bringing all the new stuff over there. So they were allowed to go through everything that was in the gymnasium. And then when we wound down that operation, we had volunteers that came in, including a lot of our own staff and a lot of people from the community, that took everything that was left over in the auditorium and moved it into a trailer that the deputy chief had secured from Hillside Towing. And put a lock on it and secured that. And then we established a plan to open the Ruffalo's location, at the same time give these folks identification cards so we knew who we were dealing with,
Right.
and making sure that the donations were going to the right people. So we worked with the Red Cross. They said put a definite timeline on it. They actually only suggested like one day opening it, and we're like, no, we have way too much.
Yeah.
So we operated it for 3 days. We put out notice, and we had staff there, and we basically operated an outlet, a resale type establishment for 3 days,
Right.
and allowed folks to come in and get whatever they needed. And then what we did was we shut down that operation. Then we made arrangements with other non-governmental agencies like the Salvation Army, Wings, which is a nonprofit domestic violence organization that has a resale shop. And they were going to come in and take everything that was left over and then issue vouchers to our social workers who can give them to the families in
Them to come
need
get stuff,
that can
right.
be used not only for clothing, but also for furniture and whatnot.
Right.
Meanwhile, there's an issue going on at River Trails, and there's a couple different groups, and one of the groups took issue with the fact that all the clothing was locked up in the trailer. So he was on the board, and we said, if you want to take
This over.
responsibility for
Take
all
it
this,
all.
you can have it. So we moved everything out of the trailer. It all went into his storage facility.
Okay.
And then we moved the trailer, brought it back to Hillside, and they had a community garage sale, and they sold like a few things, and basically they ended up taking the
The rest of the
remainder
stuff?
and ended up donating it back to Salvation Army anyway.
Yeah.
Are we still bringing What's the process still for donating items?
Right
Including-
now,
Including like furniture and stuff
Gift
like that?
cards.
Anything?
we have identified sources for furniture. We don't need, we're not actively soliciting donations right now, but what we're trying to do is pair up the victims. Hey, if you need, or if they come to us and say we could use this, then we pair them up with an organization that's providing that. And we have 5 different religious organizations that are helping with that. We have the Prospect Heights Lions Club and the Rotary clubs that are both standing by with financial assistance. And then we have other organizations that are standing by with financial assistance if the victims need it.
So
So
if a resident wanted to donate furniture or something of that nature?
we would have no place to put it right now.
Okay, all right. That's
But
great.
if we had somebody that came in and said, listen, I'm looking for this, and then we put it out, hey, we have a fire victim looking for this, we put it out over like the, through the community newsletter and
Okay.
whatnot. So that brings you up to date on the fires. The only other new departmental update that I have is that, you know, now that we're down 2 people, what we've done is we pulled from the tourism district, and from K-9, we pushed both of those positions back into patrol. And so we're operating full patrol shifts, and we're operating down a person that we were going to place into investigations. So we can continue operating like we are right now, but we have to take steps in the near future to address these issues.
So if you need the K-9 on an off shift, is that a challenge?
We would call him and ask him if he'd be available, and if he'd be willing to come in, then we'd end up paying him overtime for it.
Okay, yeah.
Is Bain staying at home then?
No, Bain comes out,
So
he's
he's-
working a regular
He's
shift.
still
Regular
working a
shift.
regular shift,
Right.
but he's,
So he's
okay.
available on
But
shift.
he's part of,
But just to let you know, is that we're using his handler, which is Officer Tebow, we're going to be recommending him be made a corporal.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a couple of new corporals coming out of this as well, because we had been working on the one officer that resigned, he was going to be an officer in charge. Well, now we're looking at basically making 2 new corporals. And that's what we're working on in the near future.
okay.
Any questions?
Nope.
The only other update I have is that we are in the process of buying 2 new squads and rotating 2 of the older squads in the fleet. We're doing it, we actually have a capital program where we put aside money and to replace 2 squads every year. Well, sometimes those squads aren't as bad as some of the other squads that might have a few less miles on them, but they have other wear and tear.
Issues, yeah.
So we're identifying those squads right now, and we'll be, as soon as we buy the 2 new squads, then we'll be rotating 2 old squads
What do you
out.
guys do with the old ones?
We send them to auction.
Okay.
We actually offer them to Public Works first, and if they have no need for any of the property that we're offering, then we go to the council, and then we have them draft an ordinance to sell the property.
What are you guys gonna buy?
2 new Explorers.
Right.
And the key is to buy them now, because with the political ones being what they are, the prices are going to go up pretty
Yeah, they are.
substantially.
They are.
In the near future. That's all I have, thank you.
Okay, is there any other business that we have?
Chief, you told me that you were looking for grant money for the school crossing at Schoenbeck or something?
I actually went for a ride today with the city administrator, Joe Wade, and it's a Safe Routes to School grant that we're looking to address the issues that you've brought up at that
Is there,
crosswalk.
is there a reason why Officer Smith was putting our speed sign up at that spot today?
That has everything to do
I
with that
kind of figured
process.
that. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, no problem.
I will report that to the neighborhood.
All right, I guess our next regular meeting would be September 26th
No problem now.
No one has a problem?
Not for me.
Okay, not for me either. And I guess we can do a adjournment?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
I second that.
That's a voice vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Okay.